All right, I think we're back. Let me see here. Okay. All right, I think we are good. Let me just look at one other thing. Give me a second. All right. Okay. Wow, man. It was rough last week for sure. It seems like everything that could go wrong went wrong. It all started with a terrible storm that came through and knocked out my internet. Comcast couldn't get to me for 2 days, and it was just rough, man. I missed you guys. I couldn't give you the info, the intel that I wanted to get to you. I couldn't get to you, man. But see, this is why you got to go to PulseWaveTrading.com. You got to break bread with us. You got to become a partner with us. All right. For just $9 a month, you can do that. And not only will you have access to the PulseWave price trigger reports that we put in your hand each and every day, but you'll be kept abreast of what's going on just in case, ladies and gentlemen, just in case one day social media says we didn't had enough for him, get him up out of there. You know what I'm saying? They could cut you off at any moment. We're not in control of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't own the platform. So that goes for everybody. All right. Anyway, y'all know what it is. This is PreMarket PulseScan with yours truly, Dex, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we put right in your hand each and every trading day. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, you were able to do the things that you so desired to do. My weekend was good. I was able to what's the word I'm looking for here, to unwind. You know what I'm saying? Kick back, de-stress, because it was stressful, man. Past few days was no joke, you know. So it's good to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's just really good to be back. And you learn not to take anything for granted. You learn to really value what you have when you no longer have it. So hopefully people see what I'm talking about, and you guys do the same thing. There was so much I wanted to talk to you guys about before all this happened, and now I don't even know what I'm talking about. So we'll just say it wasn't meant to be, and we'll just have to start fresh today and see what's going on. This is what we'll do. Um, we will just try to do what we can. I did a test beforehand, and it did look like I was able to share screen and do all that stuff. All right, so how about this? Let's see. I'm going to go over. We're going to do something a little different because you guys haven't been able to talk to you forever. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and let's start like we normally do with the market, and then we'll keep it pushing. All right, so right now I'm using a different browser, so it works a little bit different. It doesn't show me everything before I do it, so I have to kind of guess. Okay, nope, that's not it. That's definitely not it. Nope, that's not it. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be a little slow as I get used to doing things again with this new platform. Okay. So first and foremost, in the overnight market, the Dow is now currently down 588 points at 24,811. Nasdaq 100 is down 119 points at 95.13 and three quarters. Even the S&P 500 is down 58 and three quarter points at 29.65 and a quarter. The Russell is down 38.6 points at 1340.6. Bitcoin futures composite index is down $365 at 9,100 even. It did hit 89.30 in the overnight market. Looking at nat gas is unchanged at $1.73. Crude oil is down a whopping $1.45 at $34.82. Looking at the long bond is up 26.30, trading at 178 even. Gold futures are down hard, down $27.20, trading at 1710.20. Overnight low is $1,707.10. Silver also getting decimated, down 36 cents at $17.12 per ounce. US dollar index also weak, weaker by 13 pips at 97.18. The euro is up 18 pips at 112.73. Pound sterling up 50 pips at 125.46. Aussie is down 12 pips at 68.30. Canadian dollar up 60 pips at 136.42. Euro yen is down 85 pips. Nope, I'm sorry. No, take that back. It's only down 8 pips. Down 8 pips at 120.80. The dollar yen is up 9 pips at 107.38. And the Kiwi is now down 12 pips to 64.39. Soybeans down 4.5 at 866 and three quarters. Corn down 1 and three quarter points at 328 and a quarter. And wheat is off 1 and three quarter points at 500 and a quarter. All right, so that is our overnight market. Stock indexes, even though that sounds impressive as far as the point that they're down, the points that they're down. In the grand scheme of things, the way the markets have been moving, it's not really all that impressive. I actually anticipated that the market would pull back and, do a little something, something. So this is not really that impressive. I think the market would have to be down a lot more in order to be impressive at this point, with some strong positive or negative pulse waving. And we're just not really getting that at this point in time. So I think this is going to be like a rubber band type of a stretching market where you'll go down like we did, and then it'll just rubber band and snap right back. And if it doesn't rally into the close, you probably will get some sort of a bottom in the overnight market tonight, and then we rally into Tuesday. That's kind of what it's looking like. You do have some really good support right now in the market, and I'm taking a look at that right now. So right now you're just doing what is called a continuation pattern from last week's sell-off, where you're back and filling kind of, on the support. And then that should be the foundation for turnaround Tuesday. So we'll see. You never know, but we will see. We did come into today though with a lot of rally alerts actually. We started off today. I'll just go down the list. All right, so we got crash alerts in the following, starting with forex. The euro dollar the British pound, and the Kiwi all have crash alerts. The Mexican peso, the South African rand, those also have crash alerts. So pretty much crash alerts, just pretty much all across the forex space, with very few exceptions. Like the dollar yen didn't have a crash alert, and the euro yen and Australian dollar did not have crash alerts, but they have negative momentum readings. So, all right, as far as rally alerts, we have rally alert in wheat, the Dow, Bitcoin Futures Composite Index, E-mini S&P 500, an overbought alert on nat gas, meaning that we're expecting prices to pull back. Rally alert in the NASDAQ, rally alert in crude oil, and a rally alert in the Russell. So, as you know, when you take a look at how these markets have been moving and you look at the indicators tend to lead the market 3 to 5 days out. So we have 3 to 5 more days to watch this, basically the rest of the week, to see if these alerts play out. Now, these alerts are automatically canceled if we get a new alert tonight in the opposite direction. If that happens, then that is a trading range established for the rest of the week, for which we expect the markets just to move sideways. All right. So there is I want to say maybe a 2% of the time, markets tend to break out immediately if that happens. So we got a few signals that we're looking at right now. We're looking at these rally and crash alerts to see what plays out over the next couple of days. If we get a new signal, I'll alert you to that too. So what you want to do based on these readouts is you want to look for the intraday price inflection points to see if anything happens. Intraday price inflection points, for those that are the uninitiated, what it does is it lets us know what has to happen in a given market before we get involved. All right. So there are times where before we buy something, the market needs to pull back first, or there'll be times where the market needs to break out first before we get involved. Or if we're looking to sell something, the market may need to rally first before we sell it, or it may need to fall. So depending on the market conditions and where the price inflection points are located, that will tell us what we need to know. So that's just a little bit background on how that works. All right, now let's take a look at the overnight news, because that also is of importance. All right, so first things first, coming into this, we're looking at global stocks tanking as investor fears of a second wave of coronavirus surge, driving riskier assets out of love. Riskier assets are completely out of love, and volatility is likely to surge once again, an analyst said. BP slashed its valuation by almost $18 billion as it adjusts to oil's pandemic. And that is considered a new normal. The oil major said it expects Brent crude to average around $55 per barrel from 2021 through 2050. Wow. 27% lower than its previous forecast. China's economy is slowly crawling back from its coronavirus slump, but the very high risk of a second wave looms large. A boost in consumer spending sent home and auto sales higher, raising optimism that the economy may emerge stronger from its virus hit. Amazon faces multiple U.S. antitrust probes as the coronavirus cements its dominance in online retail. Investigators want to know if Amazon uses its marketplace to give its own products a leg up over third-party sellers. Let's see here. I don't see how that's a problem. This seems to be some type of a witch hunt or something, because they want to break up Amazon. Now, I'm not defending Amazon. I just want to explain to you how this little piece, this little hit piece right here, what it's designed to do. So let's go over it. Amazon faces multiple U.S. antitrust probes. All right, so they're letting you know right then and there. They're calling it a monopoly. They want to break it up. Okay, as the coronavirus cements its dominance in online retail, so it's already setting up what you're about to hear. So it's telling you that the U.S. is coming after them. The government is coming after them. All right, calling them a monopoly and saying that they feel that it's unfair that during the coronavirus pandemic it made Amazon dominant in online retail. All right, first of all, the free market is supposed to be exactly what it is, the free market. If Amazon does it bigger and better, all right, then it deserves to be successful for that. There's no such thing as too much success. Oh, you done got too big. There's no such thing as too big. All right. If you build a better mousetrap, you deserve to be broke off for that. If that makes you a multi-quadrillionaire, then so be it. All right. It's not antitrust unless the practices are gangster, where you lobby and pass laws and legislations to make it so that no one else can operate in the space to compete with you. Oh, I'm sorry. Amazon doesn't do that. All the other major Fortune 500 companies in the world do that. My bad. Investigators want to know if Amazon uses its marketplace to give its own products a leg up over third-party sellers. Okay, right there, that lets you know what time it is. Listen carefully. Investigators want to know if Amazon uses its marketplace to give its own products a leg up over third-party sellers. Yeah. Do you understand the failed logic in that statement? Why wouldn't they want to give themselves a leg up? Why wouldn't they want to use their platform to push their own products? Duh. Isn't that what companies are in business to do? Again, what do you want? Do you want Coca-Cola to put a can of Pepsi in every six-pack just to make it fair since Pepsi's struggling? That doesn't sound right at all, but that's exactly what the government is trying to say. It's not fair because you're pushing your products over third-party sellers. Isn't that what you expect them to do? But on the flip side of that, first of all, they don't have to have any third-party sellers. They can say we are the seller of last resort. They don't have to have any third-party sellers. They don't have to. They really don't. Okay, they don't. But they're not stupid. They know that they make a lot of money by having third-party sellers. So they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. But of course, they're going to make sure that their stuff gets prominently placed as well. There's enough room on the shelf for everybody. Notice how they don't do this. They don't have this problem with grocery stores. They don't have this problem with other retail outlets. There are like tens of thousands of companies and manufacturers, and that most fields of retail are oversaturated. Case in point, how many clothing designers would you say there are on the planet? Thousands. Okay. We know the biggest names. We know the really popular like Gucci and all of that. We know that, and Chanel. But there are millions, there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of fashion designers and would-be fashion designers. I don't hear them complaining and saying, well, it's not fair because Macy's is putting their own products, prominently placing them in the store. And Rebecca Sewing Machine Craft, her stuff is not anywhere in the building. You would basically be mandating that Macy's put every would-be fashion designer's designs in its space. If you made Macy's do that, then there will be no customers because no one will be able to fit in the building. There will be no walking room, no leg room. You couldn't fit through the door because clothes will be everywhere. Designs will be everywhere. You can't fit all that. So it's competitive to get your stuff placed in a major chain. Grocery stores are no different. Do you know how many manufacturers and resellers there are of, let's say, ketchup? If you mandated that grocery stores must include every brand of ketchup that exists, once again, you wouldn't be able to walk in the store because ketchup will be everywhere. There will be 50,000 different ketchup brands for you to choose from. No, see, what we have is the illusion of choice. There's a few prominent brands on the shelf along with the store's own brand, right? And you think you have some type of a choice. You really don't. There's always been the illusion of choice when it comes to retail. And by the way, that's the opening bell for those that need to handle some business and play some tickets. Not like you should not have done that last night. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right. So I think it's messed up that we're starting to see socialism and communism trickle down into retail now, where the government is starting to mandate ridiculous things. Once again, if you did that, there would be no grocery stores or retail shops because they wouldn't be able to fit everyone's products in the store. All right. So do the math on that. All right. Unilever to invest $1 billion, €1 billion in a climate change fund over 10 years. The Anglo Dutch conglomerate said it was responding to the scale of urgency of the climate change crisis. They will never be able to do anything about climate change. Sorry. Climate is changing. Oh, it's changing, all right. But it has nothing to do with human beings. Sorry. That has been a myth that has been debunked and debunked over and over again, but still it's played as the dominant scientific fact. When it's pseudoscience, it's not scientific fact. Man-made global warming and man-made climate change is not true. That's why they changed it from global warming to climate change. Because when it was when the whole thing with the global warming was debunked, they had to come up with another euphemism. They had to change the language to something more nefarious and more vague, like climate change. Climate change is so vague it entails everything. If it rains one extra day this month than it normally does in the last 5 years, see, climate change. So they can claim anything. What they do is they look for catastrophic weather events and say, see, there's climate change. We have a climate change crisis. But when you look at it, our historical record doesn't even go back nearly far enough where you can make those bold and dogmatic statements about weather. You have no idea what the weather was like 1,000 years ago because there's no historical record to show you that. You know nothing. It's all guessing so they can push their agenda forward of total world dominance and control of all human activity and behavior. Tesla's China car registrations up 150% month on month in May. The electric vehicle makers China's registrations, including imported cars, grew to 11,565 in May from 4,633 units in April. Airbnb partners with Brazil virus hotspot Sao Paulo on post-pandemic tourism. The home rental firm struck a partnership with Brazil's Sao Paulo state of encouraged tourism once the novel coronavirus has passed. Volkswagen in Mexico will begin sending workers back to its plant on Tuesday. Workers are being sent back to the Mexican unit for preparation and training, eyeing a gradual start. Global stocks are sharply down in Europe. Germany's DAX fell 1.5%. Britain's FTSE 100 fell 1.3%. And the Euro Stocks 50 fell 1.5%. In Asia, China's Shanghai Composite fell 1%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 2.2%. And Japan's Nikkei, the Nikkei fell 3.5% at the close. In the U.S., futures underlying the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ uh, rose and fell between 1.7 and 2.6%. Economic data today, the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index is due for release. So, got a lot going on, but then on the flip side, we have absolutely nothing going on. It's really weird. Of course, you know, the whole thing with the riots continuing to go forward, this big, you know, communist takeover of the United States of America is happening. And you know, human beings are very industrious, okay? They're very industrious. They know what to do. They know how to move in a way to keep things going for as long as possible. It's just the nature of things. It's just what it is. Look at all the terrible things that have happened, you know, throughout history. And you see that we've always come back, you know, always. Always, man is very industrious. He knows what to do. So all you got to do is find a way. Man always finds a way. So I don't know if it's going to be any different. Not saying that things can't happen. Not saying that, you know, horrible things are not necessarily on the horizon, but I'm just saying that man always finds a way. How they say it, nature always finds a way. Remember that Jurassic Park? Nature always finds a way. So we'll see if they can find a way, like they always say. All right, so let's see what else we got here to discuss. We got a few things to discuss. All right, talking about the recovery, we hit on that. We know the recovery is not true. One thing I did see is that they were article came out saying that the Robinhood traders are a non-factor, and they're not the ones that's been making the market go up the way it did. It was really the Fed. And of course, just so you guys know, Robinhood was down. I think it was Thursday and Friday. So there's no way they could have participated, even if they wanted to, which is hilarious. All right, so let's see here. Have you thought about this? When the term globalist is used by alternative analysts, it usually encourages the mainstream press to denounce it as anti-Semitic, which is concentrated on the belief that a select group of the Jewish persuasion, dubbed the elite, control the world from the shadows. Failing that, the media will pigeonhole it as an abstract expression that has no defined definition. They like that because then they can make definitions the way they want. The truth is that the reason the media does not want to engage with the concept of globalism is precisely because it can be defined for both institutions and the individuals that inhabit them. To illustrate this, let's use the Trilateral Commission as a specific example. All right. Take a look at how the organization was in the process of reforming itself. But back in the summer of 2019, they published a brochure called Democracies Under Stress, Recreating the Trilateral Commission to Revitalize our democracies to uphold the rules-based international order. Within the brochure, they spoke about rediscovering their roots, sharpening their mission, and the need for rejuvenating their membership. All of this was predicated on a goal of upholding the rules-based global order and meeting the challenges of the 21st century. It was around this time that the Trilateral Commission held its 2019 plenary meeting in Paris in the middle of June. During this event, the North American chairman of the commission, Megan O'Sullivan, who was also on the board of the Council on Foreign Relations, spent a few minutes talking about the institution and the role it intends to play from here on in. Here's a direct quote from O'Sullivan's monologue, which can be viewed on the Trilateral Commission's YouTube channel. Oh, who would have thought they have a YouTube channel? Quote, we're an organization of people who have close ties to national governments, and often the ideas we debate in private inform our own perspectives and inform our discussions and deliberations and conversations with people in positions of power. That will still be true, but today we need to think about having an impact on the broader debate. We no longer live in a world where governments are the only ones that can influence the future. In fact, increasingly, we have to think about other entities as being the real engines of change, and be that corporations or universities or even individuals. We need to think about how to shape the conversation, how to bring those groups in, to have investment in and commitment to solutions, end quote. O'Sullivan concluded by saying, and we need to move ahead whether or not we're able to get our governments to agree with our prescription and recommendations. So in other words, they're looking to co-opt and take over and subvert through derision. Aren't those considered high crimes and treason? This is in concurrence with what the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said at the World Economic Forum in January 2020, when talking about his belief that global problems must be met with global solutions. Quote, sometimes we manage, sometimes we fail, but one thing you can be absolutely sure, we will not sit quietly expecting a consensus of the international community to solve the problems we have been discussing. How about causing? The implications of O'Sullivan and Guterres' words primarily suggest one thing, and that is that the organizations they represent are not going to wait forever for national legislators to implement solutions for global crises. What they appear to be saying is that if governments cannot be galvanized into action by ratifying into law initiatives like the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Green New Deal, then the only other option is to set about doing it ourselves. Yeah, but how are you going to go about doing it? Is it by funding all of these riots? Could it be Antifa and Black Lives Matter throwing money at those organizations? Is that it? O'Sullivan muses that governments are no longer the only bodies that can influence the future, and now is the moment where consideration must be given to other entities as being the real engines of change. According to her, this could be a mix of corporations, universities, and individuals. Very, very, very telling, is it not? I see you in the live, Rob. What you're seeing on the screen is TD Ameritrade. It's Think or Swim. So I'm definitely in. Have you tried restarting your computer? Just doing a quick restart and see what happens with that. See if you can get that to rock. Because as you see here, the quotes are definitely on and popping. Those are working. But since you said something, let me just attempt to put up a chart and see what happens. All right, my charts are populating. All right, I just got GDXJ to populate, so that's working. Let me show you. Let me prove it to you, just so you can see. Yes, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, see, I just put that up. That's GDXJ. So, yeah, mine is definitely working. Nice, nice. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so you're saying you're having a problem with the phone app of it? Okay, yeah, the phone app could possibly be having an issue. I know the desktop is not. I'm in the desktop right now. I'm in it. I'm in it right now. See, my stuff is working. Here's the Russell My Hustle, so you can see. It's taking no longer than normal to populate. Though normally it just populates like super fast. But all right, let's see what's happening. They could be having some issues. Let's see. All right, yep, I'm spinning as you can see, real time. Yeah, they must be having some kind of issue. Darn. Yeah, my charts aren't populating either. At least the quotes are working though. So if worst came to worst, if you was day trading, you could at least read the tape. Yeah, right now. Yeah, okay. So you got it. They're having issues. They're definitely having issues. Something's going on. Okay, let's see. Now you can log in. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. Okay, now my chart finally came up, but still, that did take a little bit. I don't know what's going on, man. I can say this though. Remember, they passed legislation not long ago, and a new law that says that internet service providers can, you know, bring down your speed for whatever reason they deem fit. Maybe that could be having some. Maybe it's not TD Ameritrade having a problem. Maybe it's the ISPs that are messing with people. Seriously, I mean, come on. How do you explain? How do you explain that? Just look at what happened. I couldn't even get the live to work on a Chrome browser or even Opera. I had to switch to Firefox. That's what I'm using right now. Every time I would go to like hit the share the screen button, my browser would crash. So there's something ain't right. Something going on. Put it that way. Something ain't right. We ain't stupid. All right. For starters, corporations and universities are not accountable to the electorate. But institutions like the Trilateral Commission are heavily populated by figureheads from multinationals and the educational sector. Behind the scenes, they are helping to formulate policies with the aim of them being carried through the national administrations for implementation. All right, that's a lot. That's a form of lobbying. All right, so they're letting you know they're not, elected individuals. They're operating as a company. They can do whatever they want. Again, isn't subversion? Isn't that treason? For an overview of how the commission operates, I would recommend reading a copy of Trilaterals over Washington, a two-volume book written in the late 1970s by researchers Anthony Sutton and Patrick Wood. Here, the authors describe the composition of the commission and break down the power structure into three parts: the operators, the propagandists and technicians, and the power holders. See what I'm saying? I briefly described each process in an article published back in 2018, Order Out of Chaos, a look at the Trilateral Commission. And this is Stephen Guinness is the author that's being referred to here. O'Sullivan clearly states that the Trilateral Commission has close ties to national governments, and that private debate within the commission is informing their own perspectives as well as informing our discussions and deliberations and conversations with people in positions of power. This will continue, but it is no longer enough. Now they want to start having a bigger impact on the broader debate. There is no debate because we don't have public debate. What are you talking about? Any debate you guys are having is behind closed doors. It sure ain't with we the people. By broader debate, I would argue that O'Sullivan means you and I. The next logical step if you are the Trilateral Commission, is to try and gain majority consent on the reforms they want to see enacted. How can they begin to do that? Let's be clear that membership of the commission is not permitted for politicians who are in government. When co-founder of the institution, Zbigniew Brzezinski, entered Jimmy Carter's administration in 1977, he renounced his direct affiliation with the commission, but that did not mean Brzezinski was no longer in broad agreement with the objectives of the group. Indeed, after Brzezinski left official office, he returned to the folds of the commission. As I have pointed out before, the current leader of the opposition Labour Party in the UK, Keir Starmer, is an active member according to the June 2020 membership roster. This is a fact that is not mentioned on Starmer's own website, his official parliamentary webpage, or in the national media. See how the media is complicit? All right, they're the arm, the propaganda arm, the mouthpiece of propaganda for the elite. When he was campaigning to be Labour leader in February 2020, Starmer's connection to the commission was kept suppressed. See, kept suppressed. That's not free journalism. That's not real journalism. Real journalism is not allowed to operate anymore, folks. Mainstream media is just a propaganda piece for the power elite. Evidence of this came in mid-February when his campaign team was forced to deny that they had illegally accessed Labour Party membership data. The matter was raised on a live BBC leadership debate show hosted by Victoria Derbyshire, where one member of the studio audience suggested that the reason Starmer was not facing an official investigation was because of his membership of the Trilateral Commission. So he's being protected by the commission. Starmer very quickly brushed off the claim, and Derbyshire just as quickly moved on to another member of the audience. So he just denied it, and then they moved on. They didn't stay there and deal with it. This was an ideal opportunity to question Starmer on his involvement in the commission, to ask what it is and how it may or may not influence the political beliefs and motivations. Instead, the BBC chose to ignore the issue. Starmer may be in opposition, but his membership is relevant because the commission is informing debate and is seeking to influence national administrations to adopt globally devised initiatives. Starmer is part of that process. And it should be stressed again, out of 650 members of parliament, Starmer is the only one who was invited into the commission. Membership is invitation only, by the way. Perhaps this is because of his legal prowess, as from 2008 to 2013, he was the Director of Public Prosecutions, the third most senior prosecutor for England and Wales. Should Starmer even make it as far as Prime Minister, he will vacate his position at the Trilateral Commission. What he likely won't relinquish is his loyalty to the trilateral cause. At this point, a fair question to ask is, what authority does the Trilateral Commission possess that allows them to believe that they could bypass national governments in pursuit of global objectives? After all, this is a commission that is not elected, but has within its ranks men and women who are elected at the national level. It is a commission that is dominated by corporate interests and is privately funded. At a special event in 1998 to mark 25 years of the Trilateral Commission, a list of financial supporters from 1973 to 1998 was published to show names such as Exxon Corporation, AT&T Foundation, the Coca-Cola Company, the First National Bank of Chicago, Morgan Stanley and Company, and Goldman Sachs. A list for the present day is not readily available. From analyzing the Commission's communications, my concern is that the language has now shifted from an emphasis on national administrations to implement reforms to the global institutions seeking to do it themselves. This is global governance in all but name. When the onset of the COVID-19, the rhetoric has intensified substantially on the necessity for governments to rally behind initiatives like the Sustainable Development Goals and enforce them into national law. And if they don't, well, we will seek to do it without you, is the message. As Megan O'Sullivan admits, we need to move ahead whether or not we're able to get our governments to agree with our prescriptions and recommendations. So in other words, this private institution made up of Fortune 500 companies is looking to subvert government. Again, what do we call that? We call that treason. All right. You're not supposed to be able to influence government. What are you talking about? See what I'm saying? This is problematic, folks. We have fascism on the rise, the merger of corporate and government. We're to the point where you don't know where the corporation ends and the government begins. That is not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. So you're seeing now that, these special interest groups, these secret societies are literally taking over and doing whatever they want to do. And they're basically like, who's going to stop us? The American people can't. No one can stop them. They're doing what they want. They have very deep pockets. They have large briefcases full of money, and they can do whatever they wish for as long as they wish because no one can stop them. And they influence governments, probably through bribery, through corruption. Maybe they got some dirt on some of these people, so they make them do what they want. I told you guys the most powerful weapon in the world is that briefcase full of money. In some cases, it's a briefcase. Other cases, it's a backpack or a book bag or even an envelope. An envelope can be mightier than the sword as well. It depends on what is contained within the envelope. Is it photos? Is it compromising photos? Is it compromising documents? Is it compromising documents that have been made a copy just for you specifically, along with a check? Cash this check, deposit this check, will know you're on board. Failure to do so, the information contained therein, this envelope shall go public. Do we have an understanding? Yes, master. That's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. The only way a special interest organization, the only way a secret society can have that kind of control is if their membership is made up of the power brokers themselves. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's up. We got to deal with this. We can't ignore this. We have to face it. All right? You got to wake up. They plan to bankrupt the United States of America and other countries, especially the U.S., because the U.S. is standing in the way of what they want to achieve, which is global dominance. All right? I'm just saying. All right? Wake your eyes up. Now, I'm trying to give everybody a way out. I'm giving people a way out. All right? We've lowered our partnership to $9 a month, making it possible so that you can break bread with us. We're trying to help as many people as possible, especially those that have lost their jobs. All right? Especially those that are on fixed incomes or what have you. All right? We're trying to do what we can. We're doing them the best we can, but we can't force anyone to help themselves. We can only lead you to the water. We can't make you drink. All right, so Lord willing, I will be back this evening for the end of day discussion, the end of day report, and we'll take it from there. It looks like we are back. We were able to do this with no problem, and I'm happy about that. It's a good thing. I was able to share screen. We know that all the technology is working, and that's what's up. So I will see you guys in the trading room. Everyone else, I'll see you this evening for the end of day report. We'll be able to get into some chartage and all that good stuff. All right. So with that being said, love you guys. Please be encouraged. Visit us at PulseWaveTrading.com. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. Peace.